Well, this was a long time coming video. Um, I was supposed to done it like hours ago, but better late than never, as they say. So I want to talk about my life so far, all the way from 1996 to 2020. Um, uh, I mean, to do this video, I am gonna let you know there is no scripted, uncensored. Um, if you don't like me cussing, you don't like me talking about certain subjects that might offend you, or just anything in particularly, you are more than welcome to leave the video. I will have some stories to tell from the time I was born to whenever I feel like enough's been said for the day. This might be a two-parter, three-parter. They're going to be long videos. So let's begin. My life. Joseph Keith Colyer. Well, that's not my original name. Biological name is Brian Joseph Argo. I just go by Joseph because I don't want to go by my dad's name, but we'll get into that later, hopefully in today's video or not. But this is how we're going to begin this. Back in 1996, January 4th, 1996, of a child that was born of breech 2 days late from being born. Was born on a Thursday in 1996, January. That's me. I was born with a mother and a father, just like everybody else, but a bastard child nonetheless. I was born out of a wedlock, so my mom and dad were not married at the time, so I was born out of wedlock. Like I said, if you don't know what a bastard means, basically means a person doesn't have a father or was born out of wedlock. So technically I'm a bastard child. Like if anybody's watched Game of Thrones, everybody knows about Jon Snow. He's a bastard. And for back then, Snow meant you were a bastard. Well, I can take either or my biological parents' last names because I was not legitimately, born out of a marriage. I was born out of a marriage. So I could legit take either of my mom's last name or dad's last name. So, but 1996, I was born into the world in California, and Santa Clara, out there in the west coast of the United States. So I was born. I, just normal child, born, nothing special. For about a good portion of 1996, I was just with my mom and my dad off and on. My dad somewhat took care of me when I was born. And my mom, she basically, went lived with her parents and just went from there, basically. I lived in California for most of 1996. About around 1997 is when my mom and dad decided to, get married and move, because my dad moved out here to Arkansas. That's where this is being recorded at, is in Arkansas. And, well, between my mom and my dad was kind of like a forced marriage. My mom basically didn't want to move to Arkansas unless my dad married her. So the marriage got kind of forced on. Shit happens. During this time, like I said, I was a baby, an infant, didn't know anything. I was there at my mom and dad's wedding when I was about a year old, a little over a year old. I don't have any photos to show you because I don't own the photos. So 1996, 1997, just born, live a little bit. I guess 1997, 1998 would be the year I moved out to here in Arkansas. I always consider Arkansas as my home because that's where I was raised, not California. I might have been born there, but not raised. So slow start, but I don't really remember too much being a child or an infant. I remember I would, between the years of 1996 to about 1990, actually about 2000, I pretty much got into mischief and troubles with being a baby and an infant, and a toddler, or however you want to go about it. Just get into some small mischiefs as a kid growing up. Got the parents to call the police to try to find me, or just weird stuff I did as a child. Small bits. I don't remember a lot growing up as a kid, up until about 5. About 5 years old, and this is 2001, when we had our notorious 9/11 incident that happened later after my 5th birthday, before I was turned 6. 2001 is when I was in school during this time, and I don't know anything about it. Didn't know it actually happened when I was a kid. So I have no real feelings of people that we lost in 9/11 because I don't remember. Had to hear about it in history class when I got older, but during that time, I was just a kid. Didn't know anything. Didn't hear anything on the news. Nothing. My parents probably knew about it, but I didn't know anything about it. But I was a kid, and between 2000 and 2005, my childhood era, like I said, I got into some mischiefs, stole a few things as a kid. I made some friends growing up in the neighborhood I used to live in. That where I live right now, I'm not too far from my old neighborhood. I'm only like about a mile away from my old neighborhood. So if that tells you something. Pretty much just like I said, not a whole lot. But between 2000 and 2005 is when there were some good times and there were some bad times. When I remember we had snow that came around here a lot during that time of the year. And Yeah, it was nice. It snowed a lot. Now it doesn't snow here a lot lately, but weather, global warming, as they call it. But anyways, I remember getting in trouble with my brother at times. Um, didn't think anything was wrong with me going through school. Went through kindergarten, went on some field trips. First ever book was given to me was the Polar Express book. That's an actual movie now, and I loved that movie. I would watch the movie every year if I had it. Great movie, beautiful, good animation for Tom Hanks being the lead actor in that role. Um, and gas prices were cheap in the early years of 2000. Besides what happened afterwards, when things started jumping up in price. Society in the early 2000s was a bit lenient until after 9/11 everything happened. Security got put on high alert. Um, more and more shootings have occurred after 9/11 that we all hear about on the news. And there's nothing we can do about it. Sorry, it happens. But I don't remember much of that. I just remember having friends that I used to have that I barely remember and miss somewhat. I remember I was a kid. I was about 5, 6 years old. Met a little girl in my class named Kimberly Cole. And trust me, I try to look up that name, can't find it anywhere. Don't even know what she looks like anymore, to be honest. She grew up. Shit happens. And I basically was on the bus, got kissed on the forehead by little Miss Kimberly, and I um, told mom about it. My mom laughed at me about it because things I said were pretty funny at the time about getting married, having to get a job, being a kid. Um, and we actually kissed at the ballpark that I live nearby in one of the batting cages with her big sister there to be all, oh, so cute. But yeah, it's the first time I ever kissed a girl. I was about 5, on the lips, child crush. It was interesting. I can say that much. And time grew, and then my mom and dad. My dad left for a bit to go take care of some business with his dad, my grandfather, and my mom kind of fucked up a bit. My mom met this guy named Gary, and pretty much tore the family apart. My mom made a mistake, a costly one. Ended up with my mom and dad getting a divorce, and I also had a baby sister that happened in all that mix. Little sister named Cheyenne. Cheyenne Elizabeth Paulette. She was, brought into the world with my mom and Gary as Gary's first child. And That's when shit escalated very quickly in my family. I That's when things shifted a lot. But during still the years of 2000, at least 2005, I did require one best friend named Dominic. He was a friend of my mom's, a woman named Teresa. My mom and Teresa were friends from work or something, and her son named Dominic was a year younger than me. We became best friends. We had a lot of things in common: video games, um, cartoons. He would spend nights at my place. I spend nights at his place. We were like two peas in a pod. We would be inseparable at times. First guy best friend I ever had. And we had a lot in common. We had a lot in common at the time, and it was great. I miss him though. I still miss all the friends I made that were really close in my heart to this day. And there'll be more that I'll talk about later. But Dominic was my first real best friend I had, and we were friends for about several years up until my mom and dad divorced. That's when shit went south. My life kind of crumbled about around the age of 9. So 1996 I was 0, 97 I was 1, 98 I was 2, 99 I was 3, 2000 I was 4, 2001 when I was 5, 2006 is 4, 1, 5, 2000, no, 2005 is when 2001 was when I was, hey, you know what? I want to get me a piece of paper right now. Stop all this. Forgive me. So that way I remember how old I was. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and write this down and show you how old I was. So I'm losing my mind a little bit. Eager for being alone at my house. I got paper around here somewhere. It's down here. Blank piece of paper. Now I write them all out. How old I was, all the way up till basically I was 18. So this ain't gonna take me that long. So it's already got up to 9 already. So 99 I was 3. In case y'all didn't know that. In 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we go. I don't know if you can see that or not, but so when I was 9, it was 2005, and that's when my mom and dad got the divorce. So I think when I met Dominic, I was about 6 or 7. So we were friends for at least 3 years. So I'll even put this down. I was a baby up on top, and I was kid right here in the middle. Okay. And I was a little chubby kid here in Arkansas growing up. My mom and dad kind of fed me well, spoiled me a lot up until 2005. That's when there was a decision I had to make for myself if I wanted to stay with my mom or my dad. I chose to live with my mom because I didn't think about living with my dad by myself. So I went ahead and lived with my mom. Worst mistake ever. I was miserable. I uh, I was miserable. Lived in California for 2 whole years. I'm starting to write all the years out here on my calendar of how old I was. Uh, so about 9 to about 11. That's when California happened, and that's when I lived with my mom, my brother, my sister, in my mom's parents' house. There was a there's a lot going on. I had to change schools. Um, I had to um, make new friends. It was hard, and most of the pain I've been feeling since my mom and dad have been divorced. There's this pain that I can never make it go away. It's just there, and it's sad. And when I was a kid, baby, I felt loved, cherished. My mom and dad got divorced. That all changed. Everything changed. When I was in California, I felt alone. Being, my mom didn't really raise me growing up as a kid. She just spoiled me a lot. Never raised a hand to me or anything like that, and it just kind of spiraled out of control a bit. And my mom is the one to blame for not raising me properly because she let me eat whatever I wanted. She just let me do whatever. My dad, same way. When I was a kid, he didn't really care. As long as I was happy. When I went to California, I was not happy. I was sad and alone and been picked on by my own classmates that were Hispanics. And talking about, the different races. When I was a kid, back here in Arkansas, I had Hispanic friends, but they always stole from me and my brother. And this is another trend we're going to go into now. I come to California, most of the region in the area where I lived in San Jose was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Mexicans. So I try to make friends with them. Well, they stole from me as well. What can you do? And they lied and stuff like that. So I don't really have a good track record with Hispanics. I really don't. From boys to teenagers and adults, nope. You can call me racist if you want, but I just don't like Mexicans, Hispanics, Latinos. I don't know about Latinos, but when it comes to Mexicans, yeah, no. But I'll tell you another story about that later too. But my timeline here, 2006, 2007, I lived in California. I was miserable. I was fat, overweight, white boy before my actual skin color started showing when I turned about 12, 13, when I started getting sunlight. I know, right? Sunlight. But no, like I said, with uh, that being said, California was not, paradise. My mom and my grandma fought. My mom got kicked out of the house. I was kicked out for a while. Then my mom and uh, my mom and her parents decided to let me live with them. So I lived with my grandparents for a while until my mom was able to come live back in the house. And I mean, it took a while to change, but they let me live there because they needed I needed to go to school and get my education. Both of them agreed to that, so I lived with my grandparents for a while. My mom settled her differences between my mom and whatever, but mom would come on the weekends and come pick me up. And my grandma sort of raised me a little bit. I was a little rude to my grandpa, but without my mom there, I was kind of like had to behave. And my grandma had my back always. So it was pretty lonely because I didn't talk to my grandparents that much. Kind of played video games, played on my Game Boy Advance I had when I was a kid, and my PlayStation, and yeah, it was pretty lonely as a kid. So it seems like you're hearing a trend going on here when I start getting to the more later of my years. And about 2007, when I was about 11, my dad finally shows up in my life again. And that's when things really changed. I missed my dad, wanted to spend time with my dad. I got out of school for it for about a week. Teacher just let me go see my dad because I was doing good in school. She just let me go see my dad. So my dad would take me out of school for about a week, spend time with him. Went to meet my other brother and went to and had a lot of good times. Just went to the beach the first time in my life, and yeah, it was fun. And I met my dad's girlfriend named Jean at the time. And now why she's important to talk about in the stories, but she's very important. And then I also saw my aunt, little Ann, same day my dad showed up. And this is how this day went. It was just a normal day, like a weekend, Saturday, I think it was, Sunday maybe, I don't know. I was playing video games on my little Game Boy, and I went to open the door because I normally did it for my grandparents and my mom, whatever. And my mom told me to go open the door. I didn't know my dad was standing right there because I haven't seen him in 2 years. It broke my heart a little bit. It, it was that excitement that knew something was going to change. Because I was not happy in California. Bullied, picked on, spit at, fight with. It was not fun. I was miserable. I hated it. Hated every day I lived there. Made friends, yeah, but it wasn't enough. So my dad came back in my life. I had hope that I would go back to Arkansas. And this is when my whole idea of hope started when I was in California of going back home. So I felt homesick. And I got the opportunity to go home. So I did. But I didn't know my dad was living with Gene, so I went to go live with Gene and my dad in 2007 when I was about 11 years old. And then the years start kicking in. So from the time I was 11 to the time I was 6, about 5, 6 years, I lived in Springdale, Arkansas, in the Lowell area. That was a change. Big change. I it was a big change. I moved from California, left my mom to go live with my dad. And that's why I'm still here in Arkansas. Because of my dad. So I went to live with Jean in her place. And it was tough at first. It was really tough. I was a rude, immature child, and I didn't want to eat because I didn't like the food that she was making, all this and that, because I was really picky. I mean, I was very, very picky. So, as a also a father now, to another father or a parent or whatever, make sure your child eats everything and don't make excuses. And make sure they eat the right amount of food and this and that, and make sure they get exercise. I promise you, it will help. And discipline them correctly. Don't do it incorrectly. So I was used to eating junk food, always junk food growing up. And that's why I was fat. When I was about 11, I was probably weighing over about 180 pounds. And I was like 4 foot something. Yeah, not really healthy. I can tell you that much. Not healthy at all. No, sir. No, ma'am. So I was being broken in like a new horse at a stall, basically, in back here in Arkansas. And basically, I was being re-taught how to eat food. But for a couple months there, I kind of starved myself and only had water and bread because of that picky. And one day, my smart ass decided to cuss and call Gina bitch at her house in in her dining room when she made me some food. I tell you what, I got my ass whooped that day with the big old black belt from the wrath of God, and it was not funny. You over there are probably laughing right now, think it's pretty funny, but it was not funny. My ass was bam. It was not happy. And I went to go whine to my dad, and my dad looked at me and go, tough shit. Pretty much. So after that whooping, I changed up a lot. Started to eat right and do stuff around the house and get out of the house. I've never been beat before. And I didn't want to happen again. And it did happen again. It's just the first time it really sparked a fire up my fucking ass. And I changed. And I did get sometimes whooped a couple times by Gene for being immature at times. And yeah. But the first time it hit hard, it just hit hard. Other times it was not as bad. But the first time it was really bad. My mom didn't like it. You know, technically you call it child abuse now, but no one reported it. So what happens on the farm stays on the farm, and it doesn't go past there. As they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and what happens in DC stays on YouTube. In case you didn't know where that came from. So I got my ass whooped pretty badly, and I learned not to be rude with Gene. It makes a lot of sense. And after that, and not as rude, and little stuff like that. So, in the grand scheme of things, like I said, I shaped, can't speak English today either. I changed. I became a bit more of a gentleman type person, not an immature child. Thank you, Gene, wherever you are in heaven. I appreciate it. And if you have to send the wrath of God on me, go for it. I'll know it's you. Love you. But anyways, that happened right around when I was about 11. So when I was 12, I shaped up a lot. And I made friends with uh, her family, with what was it? With her grandchildren. A guy named CL and a guy named Lane and a little girl named Amy, or Amethyst. And I grew to like them, and they liked me. We got along, and we had some altercations at times. We had fun at times. It was different, making new friends. Then I made friends across the way of the pond, as you would say, or across the road with some female friends. That one I actually got a crush on with, that I'll get to in a little while. So things were changing. My summers, my winters. When I got to know Jean more and everything, I felt a bit loved. She cared about me. She raised me as one of her own. And I missed that. I missed that a lot. She didn't know me all that well, but she raised me. I consider to this day to be one of my moms. Yeah, I got my birth mom and Jean. She'd be like my other mom. She's the one that raised me. Raised me well in fine shape as a good gentleman. But I made some stupid decisions, but we'll get to that later. We'll just still keep talking about, 2007, 8. So, as I was growing up, being on Gene's farm and Gene's boot camp is what we called it. We actually had a plaque outside that was called Gene's boot camp. I'm not making this shit up. And I changed a lot. It was great. I learned to eat right, take care of myself, do chores, do dishes by hand. And yes, I did dishes by hand. Everybody takes for granted we have a dishwasher. But when you do them by hand, they had to be done right. If not, everybody gets sick. So you got to keep an eye out for it. And then, like I said, made friends across the way with the female friends. Girl named Nicole, Emily, Erica, and I forgot what the other girl's name was, but it was like cousin, sister, whatever. Anyways, not important. So, um, as 2007 was rolling down, and I got into school, middle school, over at J.O. Kelly Middle School in Springdale, Arkansas. I was there for about, when I was 2008, probably 2009, 2 school years. I did middle school. I was put in special ed, and before I mention special ed, I was put in special ed when I was a kid back in here in Arkansas, Rogers, because I acted out somehow and got thrown in special ed. I don't remember all the details, so I'm going to keep it brief. But I was in special ed when I got back here, and I was in special ed out there in California. Didn't really help. I'll keep it brief. Oh, and the kids that mainly picked on me were in special ed. What does that tell you? Yeah, things are kind of fucked up, but it's okay. So I went to jail, Kelly. I did get picked on a bit, got into a couple fights. There was a lot of life changes. When I was 12, called a black guy the N word. You know, ain't supposed to say that on live cast or anything like that, but I said the N word to a black guy because I was watching Rush Hour 2 and or what Rush Hour 1, and he said, the N word in front of a black guy, Jackie Chan did, and I got pissed about it. So I went around saying the N word, thinking of acting like me look cool. No, no. Bad idea. Called a little kid that, and he told the PE teacher that was black too. Yeah, I wasn't smart at 11, 12, 13. So, well, when I hit the seventh grade is when I was acting really rude in school. At home, I was doing my chores, staying out of trouble with Jade. But when I went to school, I was a whole different person. I was rude to my special ed teacher a lot. I had a bunch of lunch detention for like half a semester. And I mean, a lot of lunch detention because I was acting out a lot. I mean, a lot. I probably went to lunch detention at least probably 50 times in that whole semester for being in the seventh grade. Not even hit 13 yet. Yeah, things change. But once I turned 13, I actually started acting a bit more mature. My teacher noticed after the winter break, and I never got in trouble ever again. And we're not really going to talk about me making relationships in between my years of being a teenager because I really didn't have any relationships, like with females. But no, I did make a best friend in California, but didn't last that long. I did make a best friend while I was in jail in middle school. Didn't last that long. Or I would say acquaintances now. So that's why when I mentioned Dominic's being my first guy best friend, I mean it. And during the time I just hit 13, my dad put me in Boy Scouts. Yes, the Boy Scouts is an actual thing. And to my knowledge, I've heard it's going bankrupt right now. So Boy Scouts is not going to be around for much longer, just for your information. So I got into Boy Scouts when I was about 13 in 2000 and actually probably maybe even 2012, like 2008 or something. Memory's kind of vague, but close enough. 11, 12, Boy Scouts. So I was in Boy Scouts, and I made some friends there that I still know today because of Boy Scouts. Some not so well anymore, but we'll get to that later. So I was in school, was in the Boy Scouts. When I was 13, before going to George Junior High, is when I went to my junior high school. That's when I got into football. And up to this point, I was bullied and picked on a lot in school and all around the woods and back and forth. But once I hit football, nobody bothered me. And I made more friends. I know, right? Or acquaintances, more or less. So, like I said, my track record when it comes to making friends is poop. But I'll explain why later. In case you haven't watched my other videos about myself, I'll explain. So, we're looking at 2009, 10, went through football trials, Pat got on the team, and, whatever. And then, 2009 rolls around, and football at George Junior, not George, yeah, George Junior High, and lineman, defensive lineman, and a special teams player. In case you don't know anything about that, go look up football analogy and analyst and all that stuff before I explain myself what football means. I mean, you can take a minute or just listen to what I did, and I already told you. A lineman is somebody that plays on the line and plays defense or offense. I was playing defense. I was going against the offense, and I was on special teams where I was on certain special teams to do certain things to play the game, etc. So now we get that a little bit going. So I was in school, Boy Scouts, and I got into football when I was 13. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going to the practices in the summer, Boy Scout meetings on Mondays. I kept myself fairly busy as a kid to teenager. And between 2009, 10, 11, up to 12, everything was going fairly good. I was doing good in school, had good grades, got out of special ed when I was in the 8th grade. Things were looking good for me. Nothing wrong. Just like a normal kid, basically. But this is when things, turn around. 2012, beginning of it, or towards the end of me getting through my 9th grade year of playing football and my 9th grade year of being in Springdale High School, because that's where I was at in 9th grade year, Springdale High School. After about 5-6 years of enjoying Springdale, Lowell area, my dad's stuff was going to my room when I lived with Gene. And it shocked me a bit. I was confused and upset by it. And Gene and my dad broke up. But I didn't know the reason why they broke up till I was an adult. But they broke up. And it was, it hit me hard at home. Again. Because everything, I was happy, but still alone at times. Like alone, I was in California. I was still alone when I came here to Arkansas again because, I wasn't close to my dad at all. My mom was, 1,200 miles away, so I couldn't talk to my mom a lot or see my mom a lot. But we did go on vacations with my dad and Gene. Went on some vacations. Go see my mom. Those were nice. But wasn't really close to my mom and my dad growing up as a teenager. I was really not close to my dad. I was away from my mom. So when I was told that and Gene and my dad broke up, it really hit my heart. I looked at Gene as another mother figure in my life, and my dad being my dad, and everything changed. Me and my dad moved in with my grandpa, and that's when the last 2 of my years was just horrible. My grandpa, he lost his wife back in 2006, when I was about 10. I was living in California. I didn't miss my grandma that much because I wasn't close with her, nor my grandfather the year after when my mom's dad died. Wasn't close to my grandpa because I'm the one that kind of made him feel bad for himself by being in a wheelchair. See, I'm not really good on track records of that either, so forgive me. But I let's see, I just didn't really like my grandfather that much. I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't really care for him. I was being rude and immature and all that good stuff, and yeah. So, the immature kid that I was, made fun of him and did this and that to my mom's dad. And then when I got older, I didn't really care, I guess, too much about it. Shit happens. But my grandfather on my dad's side, he after he lost his wife, and I used to love my grandfather, and then he became a dick, and then I just stopped being around my dad's dad, my Grandpa David, because he would treat me like shit. He would always like kick me out of the house. He always think I was immature for not helping out with the business, and I'll tell you what, I helped out with my family's business for about 7 years as free labor most of the time. So I knew the ins and outs of the family business that my grandpa had in real estate. So, but it was different. I felt more alone, so losing all my friends again. I was in Springdale, Arkansas. Lost a lot of friends, and it just really hurt my heart again. Basically, I had to give them all up, and it wasn't nice by any means. It was pretty shitty, I think. I just don't like it. But it is what it is, as they say. There's nothing I could do about it. So I had to just move on. Like I said, it was just kind of hard. So moved on, and changed me a bit. I became a bit more lonely because I didn't have the friends around me, and I had to make new friends again. Come back to Rogers, where it all started. So I come back to Rogers, Arkansas, and during the summer of 2012, I was made a friend over the internet named Shelby. I was Shelby. Wish I could be a man and apologize to her over my video, but she probably doesn't know who the hell I am anymore anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. But if Shelby ever did watch this, I apologize for my immaturity as a teenager, and your sister Jessica. Long overdue forgiveness, but it's never too late to forgive and forget. So, and also still during this time, I also was friends with Wesley, Gene's son. Went over his place a lot in Springdale, and that's another reason why it sucked more, because I didn't go back to Wesley's place. And I also went to church a lot for 6 years when I was living in Lowell Springdale area, and that's because of a friend named Nicole. Got me into church when I was about 12, about 11, 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. Yeah, she got me into church Wednesday nights into Sunday mornings. And then the crush I was talking about, her sister named Emily, had a huge crush on her. Huge crush on Emily. I mean, I had a huge crush on her. She was just a fine, fine wine, just getting better to a very, 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 very beautiful fine wine. It was great. First girl I ever got to touch her tits with. I know, right? And around the prior times I was in the Little Springdale area with around the girls, Nicole and her sister and her cousin. And one night, her sister, not her sister Emily, but Nicole and her cousin, Erica flashed me once. She made their big old tits. And I didn't know what to do about it. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I was a little bit immature, and not immature, but I was just young. I just didn't know what to do with all that knowledge right there at the top of my noggin. So I was just confused. Those are some good times in Springdale that I missed. Also, fighting with some of the local boys around in the countryside. Mike and Troy, brothers, that would come over and play with us and beat the hell out of us sometimes. It was good fun, good quality fun. Everybody knew each other down there in the Little Springdale area. Good times. But all that changed after my dad and Gene separated. And I went back to Rogers. And then the Shelby Jessica thing, I was making friends with over the internet before I met them in person, telling them I was going to do their school. And then I went to RHS 2012. My junior, started my junior year. But during this time, like I said, I was special ed for a couple of years, up until my junior year, when I went back to special ed for English, but just only English. Everything else was fine. But I made friends and then lost them. And I kind of missed them. I was just an immature guy. Still immature. Even though Gene raised me, I was still a bit immature at times. Didn't know really how to talk to women. But that's why I'm alone now. I can't talk to women to keep them around long enough, so that's why I'm alone, single. And we haven't got to the point where I was married once or had to have a kid. Haven't got there yet. But no, I just didn't really date a whole lot until I met one girl named Holly. I was with for about a year, dating ish. That was an interesting relationship I was in for about a year. Long distance. Well, not really too long distance. It was Rogers and Decatur, Arkansas. They're not too far from each other, but it was pretty much a long distance relationship. And like I said, we haven't got to my likes and dislikes yet about myself. We're just talking about just the rough of it, the life. And, well, like I said, I kind of made some friends through football. because I was through football practice there, but not like friends that are like this. They're more like acquaintances with their open arms, and that's about it. And I was the new guy, new kid at school. Didn't know anyone. Pretty much an outcast. That's been most of my life, as an outcast. The red-nosed reindeer, basically. I'm red off the red-nosed fucking reindeer because that's how I've been always treated around myself. I put myself down a lot because, well, I just do it because I've always been put down all my life. No one's ever gave me the satisfaction to, live, be happy with. That's what I'm talking about myself now. And like I said, most of the years I grew up between 2000 and 2012, they were not all great years. I was alone most of the time. I got used to it, but my heart wasn't broken that much like it is now. So between 2012 and 2014, when I was going through school, my grandpa and my dad kind of being pains in the asses to me, and had some relationships, made some best friends. And then when I was in Boy Scouts during this time too, I also made some really close friends in Boy Scouts, and nothing. No one sticks around. And then on top of that, I just know a lot of acquaintances. I don't have any friends. Never had any true friends, except for Dominic. And yeah, I did in the future try to get a hold of him, but it didn't work. So I lost my best friend. Then, well, as I write more of these years down, with 2015, 2016, and 2017, and then 2018, 2019, and then in 2020, where we're at right now. This is when everything gets a bit more intense for me when I became an adult. Because now I'm 24 now. So 2013, it was my golden year. I was finishing up my Boy Scouts that I kind of left behind in the back burner for about a year. And I finally decided I wanted to become an Eagle Scout. So I put all my efforts to become an Eagle Scout because I was placed a bet between my dad and a friend and his child. So we placed a bet and I won. That's where more of my cocky attitude comes from because I don't like losing. I like winning. Because all of my life, I've always been the back burner guy that never got stuff done. So if I sometimes become cocky or become a nuisance, I mean, well, now you kind of know. In case you didn't know. So, like I said, throughout the Boy Scout years in football, I did football one last year at Rogers, then I decided to become an Eagle Scout because I thought that was more important than me playing one more year of football. So I retired my colors. So I said I didn't quit, I retired. Quit saying, like I said, fuck this shit, and I left. No, I didn't say fuck this shit. I actually wanted to play, but I changed my priorities. So I just went and did wrestling instead. I was interested to do wrestling. So, but I will say, before I became an adult, my life as a kid, as a baby, a kid and teenager, it was up and down. I never got a lot of love growing up as a kid and teenager at times. I was mistreated a lot going through school, bullied and picked on. for being overweight, underweight. Couldn't make a lot of friends stick around long enough in my life. And it's just been lonely. Just lonely. In the last 5 years is what's really almost want me to go commit suicide to myself now. Because I'm losing so much, and it's just weighing down my heart so much. So this is when the adult years come into play. Starting when I was 18, about to finish high school. Pretty much, my grandpa wanted me to get the hell out of his house because I was 18. I was an adult, had no car, no license, no job, no nothing, but wanted me to get the hell out of the house. Just leave, basically, and never come back. Just as soon as I hit 18, basically, I was supposed to just leave. My dad kind of didn't support that decision, but my grandpa just didn't give a flying fuck. Because when he was 17, it was a lot easier for his time to get out on his own. But when you're 18, like in 2014, hell the fuck no, you couldn't do a lot when you're 2014. You'd be fucking on the streets when you're 18 with nothing to do, with no moral compass. So this is where my mom blames my family on this with the Argos. That's why I don't go by Argo anymore. I go by my mom's last name, but we'll get to that later. So 2014 is when everything changed. Graduated high school, got my Eagle Scout. And the worst thing that happened, my future ex-wife happened. Yeah, now we're going to talk about me being an adult now. Well, I'll tell you this much. I want to tell you all straight to your damn faces that watch this. If you're older, younger, doesn't fucking matter. When you're 18, you have dreams, you want to do those things, go do them. Don't go and run around and do what I did, make a family. No. If you're in college, stay in college. If you have a job, work your job and go to college. Go have fun. Yeah, go do that. But don't settle down till you're ready to settle down. I thought I was Mr. Know-It-All and wanted to settle down. I fucked up hard. Very hard. And it cost me a lot. So take my advice. If you're 18, you got dreams, live them. Don't second guess it. Just go do it. Because you only live once. In the first 5 years, the first whatever years when you get out of high school will make the difference. If you're in the military, go to the military. If you're just go enjoy your years. Don't even get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Just go live yourself. Have your family. Don't even date much. Just kind of go do what you want to do before you start finding a man or a woman. Because I damn near fucked up on that part. That makes it harder for me to date girls now, it seems like. But no one knows my story till tonight. Or morning, technically, whatever you want to call it. So, thought I was smart. I fucked up. So I decided to get a girlfriend. Future ex-wife. I got into a relationship with a little girl named Stephanie. Redhead, by the way. I like I said, I'm not proud of this at all, by the way. Not at all. So I fucked up. We met on a dating app. Meet Me, if you've never heard of it, go find and look it up, I guess, because Mimi.com, all that is real. It's out there, dating website. I met her, hanged out with her, and wanted to date her. I want to tell you this. Don't always date somebody right off the bat. Get to know them for at least a couple months before you decide to date them. And see if they're interested with you. If they're not interested, it's not going to last. If they're interested, they're going to be around for a long time. Take your time dating. Take my advice. Don't jump into the boat and you'll start sinking. You'll start sinking. And the grass is never always green on the other side, by the way. Don't think the grass is always green on the other side. It's not. Like I said, I won't put my dating advice out there. Take your time. Unless you're dying tomorrow, take your time. No one's going anywhere. They come, they go. They stay or they leave. They accept you or don't accept you. Don't let somebody break your heart, basically. I kind of give it the 3-month rule, basically. If a girl's been interested with you for 3 months, about 6 months, start getting a relationship going. If not, if they don't pass the first month and a half, if you're trying to meet and date and talk, and that, it's not going to last. Between 3 months to 6 months, that's when you will start being in a relationship. If that means you two are fucking, great. If you're not, great. If y'all drinking together, great. If y'all smoke weed together, great. Just great. But if you don't take my word of advice, 0 to 3 months, and then 3 months, 6 months. Don't go past 6 months. Before that, you just become friends. Basically. If you're trying to like date and be together and be in a relationship, 3 to 6 months, good. Or if you want to try to do 3 months, up to you. But don't do it within a month. No, we don't know each other that well yet. No. Don't go within a month. No. Don't even a month and a half. Do at least 3 months. Get to know each other. And see if you two are good enough for each other. Because like this is where I all fucked up at. So the inexperienced man that I was, I just went right into a relationship. And that's where this brain went from the light switch was on, and it just the light bulb cracked and it broke into billions of pieces and it fucked up. So me dating my future ex-wife wasn't really dating. We didn't do anything. All we did was just have sex. Didn't say I told you this would be inappropriate if you didn't want to listen. You could turn away now. But yeah, pretty much it was just sex. Didn't go on dates, didn't go to the movies, didn't go out for dinner much. Didn't get to do what I wanted to do, or didn't get to, we just had sex. And then we decided to move into each other. No. Another rule of thumb: never move in with each other right away. Build up to that point. See, I'm telling you all this because I fucked up. Take your time, date, this, that. And my thing is, if you two want to move in with each other, you two gotta be at least dating for about a year or two. At least be committed to each other. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and say, I want to marry you. I love you so fucking much. No. No. Take your time. Makes it last longer. Makes it much last better. You know, it makes it last forever, basically. That's my new dating advice. Because before I had none. None. I've learned from my experience how to date now. That's my formula. In case any girls want to know how my formula works, if you ever watch this, now you know. If not, I ain't got time for you, basically, because you got to make time for me too. You don't put in the effort, sorry. I'll put in the effort because I'm interested. But when I'm interested, I'm interested. But if you're lacking interest, then I just kind of say, fuck it. I'll move on. But anyways, so between 14 and 2020, this is when the adult years really hit hard. So I fucked up the dating idea. We met, had a lot of sex, just moved in with each other, got into an apartment. I had a job, lost a job, got a new job, and that's part of right there of 2014. Not wise at all for me. It was more stress than anything else. Oh, and then if you have a lot of sex, by the way, if you have a lot of sex, the woman is bound to get pregnant. Let me repeat that. If you have a lot of sex, the woman is bound to get pregnant. In case y'all didn't know that. Gotta let everybody know. You're on my channel. So, after making a lot of whoop whoop in the bedroom, we were expecting a child. Me, future ex-wife at the time, were working 2 jobs. We lived in an apartment by ourselves. We didn't need any support. Until my ex lost her job, and then things kind of crumbled a little bit. And we couldn't survive off my paychecks being Little Caesars. So, and then also I did another dummy mistake. By the way, if you want to propose to the woman that you want to marry, like you are legit wanting to marry this person, like you think she's the queen of fucking Sheba or the queen of the Nile, or the queen of the fucking whatever, let me tell you what. Like I told you, when it comes to dating, 3 to 6 months. Really, at least get, you know. When it comes to getting married, 2 to 3 years, maybe 4, till you get married. Yeah, it would save your ass a whole lot from not getting fucked later. And then, by the way, our relationship was only like a year or something. It was a young, dumb, full of cum situation, basically. Yes, I said that. I was young, dumb, and full of cum. In case y'all didn't know that. So, I decided to get in a relationship young, get into an apartment young, and then get married young, and also had a kid. Oh, and on top of that, I moved in with my in-laws without being married. Future in-laws. Wow, ain't how did I fucked up? I fucked up hard. And I'm still paying for it, by the way. But anyways, now part of that's out of the picture a little bit. Okay. So I was expecting a child in the year 2015. March around that time, we were expecting a girl. Saw the ultrasound. In about April, around March, April, that time, we decided to go live with her parents, my future wife's parents. I tell you what, I will admit to anybody out there, it was fucking stressful, but I did it for 2 years, living with my in-laws for 2 solid years before I moved out. I know, you'll never hear that from a man ever again. 2 solid years with my in-laws. Most men cannot admit to that, but I will. I will admit to that. By the way, and I lived in Cave Springs, Arkansas during that time. Went from Rogers to Cave Springs. But this in 2015 really shook up a lot of things for me. I was expecting a child in July of 2015. I was going to get married in 2015 when I wanted to get married in 2016, but my ex-wife wanted to get married sooner than later. It was even more stressful. Caused me almost to want to cheat on my future ex-wife. Almost did successfully until she caught me. But anyways, Jean, my mother, passed away in May of that year. My dad, early in the year, was told had cancer from surgery that happened when I was younger, so the years kind of caught up to him. So he had cancer. My dad died in August, and this is the sad part. My baby girl was born in July. I got married on August 15th, 2015. And then my dad died 4 days later. Let that sink into your mind there for a minute. I was 19 when my dad passed away. To make it sound even, more tragic than it does, I'm the one that pulled the plug on my dad. I was the one that pulled the plug on my dad because the chances of him living after having pretty much had a heart attack, put back in a seduced coma, chances of him living were very low. So I had to put my dad away. 19. My grandpa didn't want to do it, so he gave the decision making to me. 19. I was still a teenager, a baby. It was not even like 5 years out of high school. Just a year out of high school, I put my dad away. Something a lot of people can't really say out there. I'm just telling you straight. Not a lot of people can say that. That's hard. And later that year, my grandfather passed away. Didn't really care too much for my grandpa, but still he passed away too that same year. But it's because of old age. My dad died at the age of 53 because of cancer. I don't have a father anymore. Doesn't quite help. It's my day to day. Had my wife at the time. Didn't help. I still felt alone. More alone because I lost my dad. And for about half the rest of the year, I just couldn't cope with the loss of my dad. It kind of ruined my marriage a little bit. Just started. But I was still a kid. I was still a kid. I was still a kid. I lost my dad. Too young. For both of us. It's already been 4 years. And a day goes by where the pain is lesser. Then year 2016 happened. That's when I was done coping losing my dad, and I started working on my marriage a bit more. But right towards the end of 2016, I had a letter in the mail for me from my grandfather, inheritance. So I was granted some inheritance from my grandfather. It helped out the situation between me and my future ex-wife and having my child. That was just only about not even 2 years old. And it was yeah. 2015 was hard for me. And 4 years later, last year, it was hard for me too. In 2016, I got my inheritance. 2017 is when everything started to dissipate. "2015, like it was hard. 2017 got worse. 2017, I got my inheritance from my grandfather. And a lot of bad shit happened. A few months of getting my inheritance, me and my ex started fighting a lot. And everything just started to fall apart. "2017 is when I just turned 21, and that's when the drinking started. I was working most around this time I was working at Walmart. In 2015 and 2016, 2017, I had a job with them because I was living with my in-laws, and I was raising money so we can go buy ourselves a house for me and my wife and my daughter, and well, that didn't happen. I got my inheritance, and things changed. 21, losing my wife, maybe my child from me, because I didn't know who I was. God, honest truth. I was lost. I had this shroud of cloud of dust around my head, and I wasn't myself. And the longer I stepped into this darkness, the less and less I had a family. And my decisions were not better because of my drinking. And I drank a lot in 2017, more than what somebody should have drank. Better because of my drinking. And I drank a lot in 2017, more than what somebody should have drank. And then I had what I call Black Summer 2017. That's when everything really hit hardest. Found out my ex cheated on me. My ex future wife, my wife cheated on me with the guy that was a Mexican that I was trying to be friends with, best friends with, cheated with my wife. Why you don't think I have Mexican friends? Every Hispanic I've ever known, they lie, they cheat, they steal from you. Doesn't fucking matter. They're Hispanic, Mexican. That's what they do. Call me a racist, but my personal experience with that race of people is not good. It's horrible. Every other race, it's been normal. When it comes to those type of people, no. You'll never see me eat, drink with Mexicans. Ever. Never, ever. Mm-mm. Then I got kicked out of my own house for a while. Then pretty much kicked my ex-wife out of my own house because I shouldn't let her be in the house. A lot of stupid shit happened in 2017. Then it all went down from there. 2018, it was a hard year to begin with, trying to fix the marriage. But I wanted a divorce 3 times from my ex. But there's only one good thing that came out of 2018 that I wish I still had. The only one good thing that came out of 2018 was me, one woman changed my life for the better. Made me happy again. Dad never saw happiness in a long time. The only woman that gave a shit about me. The only woman I ever loved. The only woman I ever really truly cared for in my entire life. Besides Jean and my mom. A woman named Mariah came into my life and changed it for the better. She changed my life. But that doesn't mean anything now because I'm not with her. I want to be with her so much. She is like my best friend Dominic. But the female version. My once beloved best friend. And I've had acquaintances over the years. But she is like my number 2 best friend my entire life I've ever had. And she got me through 2018 with happiness, love, affection, the stuff I've been wanting so badly. And at the end of 2018 is when 2019 started. For a crime that I did not know anything about. And in the end of 2018, I got arrested. That's when this whole thing started. With my life falling apart. 2018. 2019. Alone. A lot. 2015 was bad. 2014, 2015 was bad. 2017 was a little bit worse. 2019 broke the camel's back. I was depressed. My anxiety was up. Also helped I'm autistic. Because of the tattoo right here I have on my arm. And I lost my daughter. And I lost the woman I truly loved the most. In the beginning, the end of 2018 is when I thought I was going to have a new beginning. In 2019, the rest of my life. No. I'm suffering since 2018. I'm still suffering out here in 2020. I live alone. Taking a plea bargain deal for a crime that I supposedly did that I didn't do. An innocent man being trialed, tested, and broken because of a society that doesn't give a fuck about you. Society doesn't give a damn. You do one thing wrong, They fuck your life up the rest of your goddamn life, and you can't do anything about it. They don't care about you. Government, no one gives a damn about you. Society will break you like it has done to me. So take my word for advice. You're always on your own. You're always alone. No one is going to save you except for yourself. You look out for yourself, nobody else. You can build up all these relationships all you want, but eventually they're all going to come down, and it's just going to hurt you the most. Right now I'm alone and forgotten. Sometimes I wonder if I still want to keep making my vlogs, if I'm doing okay or not. I don't know if I want to make a song about me or not. I'm so broken right now, it's not even funny. My own choices and society have broke me to the point where I can't be fixed anymore. And no one gives two shits about you. If you fuck up, it will pretty much kill you. But if you did what I told you when you're young, do things right. You might stumble a few times, but at the end of the day, you'll feel better about yourself. If you fall on a path of darkness and despair, you're eventually going to kill yourself because you can't take it anymore. And it's always the best of us that die first before the worst of us die first. I say when I'm going to die tomorrow. I say I'm going to die after this video ends. Can't promise you anything. I've been broke down, beat down. I have nothing left to offer in this world, to be honest, except for survive. Every day until my last day. That's all I can do is survive. And live this life that I don't even want. Because society does not give a fuck about you. If you're successful, they care. But if you fuck up, they don't care about you anymore. And then you kill yourself, and people wonder why he died. Because society put him there. Society buried him for you, basically. And the loved ones that you have that are around you will suffer a great loss too. And I've lost everything. One of these days, I'm probably going to go. Because I can't take it anymore. Society has broken me to the point of there's no more return now. I'd rather just die a dead man instead of live the rest of my years. I have nothing to come back home to. I don't have my child. I don't have the woman I love anymore. I have nothing. Mom's old, about to forget everything and die soon. I have nothing. If anybody truly gave a fuck about me, they would try to save me from killing myself someday. But no one cares. Because they don't. But I want to show you my life. My tragic life with you all. So you know who I was before I died. Dr. Phil, I don't care who could help me. You can't fix my soul or my spirit or my body anymore. You can't fix it. You could try, but it's just going to backfire with you every single time. I'm about the point to give up. The day I give up, the day I go home to heaven and see my dad again. That's the day I give up. Till then, if you hear from me, then you know I'm still alive. If you don't, then he must be dead. So basically, you're just hearing a dead man talking right now. A ticking time bomb. Because I have nothing out here anymore. And if you want to get to know me, all my videos are here. If you want to get somebody to reach out and save my ass before I kill myself, go and try it if you want. It's not going to make a difference. But if you enjoyed the cast of this vlog, almost 2 hours running, take my advice. You're always alone and on your own because no one gives a shit about you. And if they do, they better put out a hand and help you out. Because right now, no one's really helping me out right now. Not you, not your teacher, not your pastor, not your firefighter, not your police officer, not your doctor. No one's helping me out. Because society has broken me already. And all I'm trying to do is survive and get out of this darkness before it kills me. To my very last day. I'm alone, cold, afraid, miserable, broken, lost. I don't know what there's left for me to do in this world anymore.